Leora, the tiny alien princess, had always felt different from others on her planet. She was smaller than the other aliens, delicate in frame, with bright eyes that reflected her curious mind. While her size made her unique, it also made her a subject of ridicule. Across the galaxy, alien males often rejected her, saying she was too small to be a proper partner. The more they rejected her, the more determined Leora became to prove her worth. She wanted to show that her courage and intelligence mattered more than her size. Despite being a princess, Leora did not live a life of ease. She spent her days learning about her people, studying the history of her planet, and training in skills she loved. She could pilot a spacecraft, repair machines, and solve complex problems. Yet, when it came to companionship, she was always met with rejection. Many of the aliens thought she was too tiny, too fragile, or not strong enough to be a leader's partner. It hurt Leora deeply, but she refused to give up hope. One morning, Leora stood on the balcony of her palace overlooking the sparkling blue oceans of her planet. The sky was clear, and distant moons glimmered faintly in the early light. She felt a mix of pride and loneliness as she watched her people prepare for the day. Her advisors moved quickly around the palace, discussing trade, diplomacy, and security. Leora knew she had responsibilities to her people, and she worked tirelessly to meet them. That day, a human man named Ethan arrived on her planet as part of a diplomatic mission. Humans were rare in the galaxy, and many aliens did not understand them. Ethan was tall, broad-shouldered, and had calm eyes that seemed to observe everything without judgment. He wore a simple uniform and carried himself with quiet confidence. Unlike many aliens, he did not appear impressed or intimidated by Leora's title or her size. Instead, he looked at her with genuine curiosity. Ethan's ship landed gracefully near the palace, sending a small plume of smoke into the sky. Leora watched as he stepped out, moving with an ease that surprised her. The palace guards bowed, and the advisors whispered among themselves about the human visitor. Leora felt a strange sense of hope, as though this visitor might be different from all the others who had dismissed her. When Ethan met Leora, he greeted her politely, smiling warmly. He spoke in clear, simple words showing respect and interest. "I have heard much about you, Princess Leora," he said. "I am glad to meet you in person. Your people have done remarkable things." His tone was sincere, not overly flattering. Leora noticed immediately that he was not mocking her or treating her like a fragile being. Over the next few days, Leora and Ethan spent time together. She showed him her planet, its cities, its oceans, and the rich history of her people. Ethan listened carefully, asking questions and showing admiration for her knowledge. He was particularly impressed when Leora explained the complex defense systems she had helped design to protect her planet from past threats. He asked about her experiences as a leader and as a princess, and Leora found herself enjoying the conversations more than she had expected. As they explored, Leora noticed that Ethan never once made a comment about her size. Unlike other aliens who had always focused on her physical stature, he treated her as a capable and intelligent individual. This simple respect made a deep impression on her. She began to feel a connection with him, something she had not felt with anyone else in the galaxy. One afternoon, while walking through a marketplace filled with colorful stalls and busy citizens, Leora and Ethan encountered a group of alien merchants. The merchants were quick to gossip about the tiny princess, making snide remarks about her inability to be a partner. Leora braced herself for embarrassment, but Ethan stepped forward calmly. "Princess Leora has done more for this planet than any of us could ever imagine," Ethan said firmly. His voice carried a strength that made the merchants pause. "Her size does not define her. Her courage, her wisdom, and her determination are what truly matter." The merchants looked at each other, surprised by the human's words. Leora felt a rush of gratitude and warmth. No one had ever defended her like that. She realized that Ethan saw her as she truly was, not as a tiny being to be mocked or dismissed. In the evenings, Leora and Ethan would sit by the palace gardens, looking at the twin moons rising over the horizon. Leora spoke of her dreams for her people, her fears, and the loneliness she had felt for so long. Ethan listened patiently, never interrupting, and offered thoughtful advice. He told her stories of Earth, where humans valued character, intelligence, and bravery above all else. Leora was fascinated by his tales, imagining a world so different from her own. One night, a council meeting was held to discuss a potential alliance with a neighboring planet. Many alien leaders suggested that Leora should marry one of their sons or noblemen to strengthen ties. Leora felt the familiar pang of rejection at the thought of being pushed into another union she did not want. But Ethan spoke up, surprising everyone in the room. Princess Leora should choose her partner, not anyone else, Ethan said clearly. She has shown wisdom, courage, and leadership beyond what any of us could match. Her worth is not measured by her size. The council members murmured among themselves. They were not used to humans speaking with such authority, especially about alien politics. Leora felt a sense of pride and relief. Ethan's support gave her strength. She realized that, for the first time, she was seen for who she truly was. Days turned into weeks, and Leora and Ethan continued to grow closer. They faced small challenges together, such as repairing damaged structures, solving disputes among citizens, and managing trade negotiations. Each time, Ethan treated Leora as an equal partner. His respect and confidence in her abilities encouraged her to believe in herself more fully. One morning, while they were walking near the planet's cliffs overlooking the sea, Leora spoke about her past rejections. "Every alien male in the galaxy has refused me," she said quietly. "I do not know why. Perhaps I'm too small, too weak, or too different." She looked down at the sparkling waters below, feeling the weight of her loneliness. Ethan took her hand gently. "You are not defined by their opinions, Leora. Your size is not weakness. Your mind, your heart, and your courage are what make you strong. I see you as you are, and I would never reject you for being yourself." Leora looked up at him, her heart filled with a warmth she had not felt in years. For the first time, she believed that someone truly valued her for her inner qualities. Ethan's words were not empty compliments, they were sincere and full of admiration. She felt a spark of hope and joy, realizing that perhaps she was not alone in the galaxy after all. As the sun set, casting golden light over the cliffs, Leora and Ethan sat together watching the waves crash below. The tiny princess felt a sense of peace and belonging. She knew that the road ahead would still have challenges, but with Ethan by her side, she felt ready to face them. The bond they shared was growing stronger with each passing day, a bond that neither size nor species could break. The other aliens began to notice the connection between Leora and the human. Some were skeptical, while others whispered in curiosity. They had never seen an alien princess form such a strong bond with a human, especially one who did not conform to their narrow ideas of worth. Leora, however, paid little attention to their judgments. She had finally found someone who saw her true self, and that mattered more than anything else. Leora realized that this human man, Ethan, was not like the others. He did not see her as a tiny princess to be protected or mocked. He saw her as a partner, an equal, and a friend. And in Ethan, Leora found someone who not only respected her but also challenged her to be her best self. For the first time, she felt hope that her future could be bright and full of possibilities. The tiny alien princess, who had been rejected by every alien male in the galaxy, had found someone who valued her for who she truly was. Leora looked at Ethan and knew that this was only the beginning of a journey that would change her life, her planet, and perhaps even the galaxy itself. With courage, intelligence, and a newfound sense of hope, Leora prepared for the adventures that lay ahead, knowing that she would never face them alone. Leora and Ethan's friendship continued to grow stronger with each passing day. They spent hours walking through the palace gardens, discussing the history of her planet, and sharing stories from Earth. Ethan was fascinated by the customs and traditions of Leora's people, and Leora was equally intrigued by his tales of a distant world full of humans who valued bravery, honesty, and intelligence. She had never met anyone who listened so carefully to her thoughts and ideas, and she felt a sense of comfort and trust with him that she had never experienced before. One morning, Leora and Ethan went on a journey to explore the outer regions of her planet. The landscape changed from lush gardens to rocky hills and sparkling streams. Leora explained the significance of each area, telling Ethan stories about her ancestors who had fought to protect their land. Ethan admired her passion and determination. "You are very brave, Leora," he said, watching her navigate the rough terrain with ease. "Most people would not be able to do this, but you handle it like a leader." As they walked, they encountered a group of children playing near a stream. The children were curious about Ethan, as they had never seen a human before. Leora introduced him warmly, and the children immediately began asking questions. Ethan knelt down to talk to them, answering their questions with patience and humor. The children laughed at his stories, and Leora felt proud to see him connecting so easily with her people. Later that day, they came across a damaged bridge that connected two important villages. The bridge had been weakened by recent storms and villagers could not cross safely. Leora studied the structure carefully, pointing out the areas that needed repair. Ethan examined it from a human engineering perspective, suggesting simple but effective solutions. Together, they worked to fix the bridge, using materials from the surrounding area. Their teamwork impressed the villagers, and word quickly spread about the tiny princess and the human who helped her. As the days went by, Leora noticed that her feelings for Ethan were growing deeper. She admired his bravery, his intelligence, and the way he treated her with respect. Unlike the alien males who had always judged her for her size, Ethan never made her feel small or unimportant. He saw her as a strong, capable individual, and that gave her confidence she had never felt before. One evening, they returned to the palace after a long day of exploration. Leora's advisors were waiting to discuss a new challenge. A neighboring planet had sent a message threatening to invade if their demands were not met. The council was tense, and the advisors argued about the best course of action. Leora remained calm, listening carefully to each perspective. Ethan stood beside her, offering quiet support. "You have the knowledge and wisdom to handle this, Leora," he said. "Trust yourself and your people. You are stronger than you think." His words reminded her that she was not alone, and that she had someone who believed in her completely. The council decided to send Leora and Ethan as ambassadors to negotiate with the neighboring planet. Leora felt nervous, but Ethan's presence gave her courage. They prepared for the journey, studying the other planet's culture and history to understand their perspective. Leora was determined to show that diplomacy and intelligence could prevent war, rather than relying solely on strength and intimidation. When they arrived on the neighboring planet, they were met with suspicion and curiosity. The leaders had heard of Leora's small size and expected her to be weak and easily intimidated. However, Ethan's calm demeanor and respectful attitude impressed them immediately. He introduced Leora as a capable leader and a princess who had guided her people with wisdom and bravery. During the negotiations, Leora spoke confidently and clearly. She explained her planet's position, offered compromises, and proposed solutions that would benefit both sides. Ethan supported her, providing additional insights and reinforcing her arguments. Together, they presented a united front that was difficult for the neighboring leaders to ignore. As the discussions continued, Leora noticed that the other leaders were beginning to respect her. They realized that her size did not matter. Her intelligence, courage, and strategic thinking were what truly defined her. Ethan's support helped her demonstrate her abilities fully, and she felt proud to represent her people with dignity and strength. After hours of discussion, an agreement was reached. The neighboring planet agreed to terms that were fair and peaceful, avoiding a potential conflict. Leora and Ethan returned to their planet as heroes, greeted with cheers and admiration. The tiny princess had proven that she was capable of leadership, and the human man who believed in her had made it possible. As they walked through the palace gardens that evening, Leora reflected on everything that had happened. She realized that her life had changed dramatically since meeting Ethan. She had found someone who valued her for who she was, someone who saw her strength and intelligence rather than her size. She felt a sense of hope and excitement for the future, knowing that together they could face any challenge. Ethan looked at her with a smile. "You did amazing today, Leora," he said. "Your people are lucky to have you, and I am lucky to know you." Leora felt a warmth in her heart, knowing that his words were sincere. She had finally found someone who saw her true worth, and it filled her with joy. Over the next few weeks, Leora and Ethan continued to work closely together. They traveled to remote parts of the planet, helped with rebuilding efforts, and solved problems that had long challenged the people. Each day their bond grew stronger, built on mutual respect, trust, and admiration. Leora felt more confident than ever, knowing that she had someone by her side who believed in her completely. The other aliens began to notice the growing connection between Leora and Ethan. Some were skeptical, questioning why a human would spend so much time with a tiny alien princess. Others were curious, observing their teamwork and the positive impact they had on the planet. Leora paid little attention to the gossip. She knew that Ethan valued her for who she was, and that was all that mattered. One morning, while walking along the cliffs overlooking the ocean, Leora spoke about her past. "I have been rejected by so many alien males," she said quietly. "It has made me feel lonely and unsure of myself. But with you, Ethan, I feel like I finally belong." Ethan took her hand gently, offering comfort and reassurance. "You belong wherever you are true to yourself, Leora," he said. "Your size does not define you, and it does not limit you. I see your strength, your courage, and your heart. That is what truly matters." Leora felt tears of gratitude fill her eyes. She had never heard words like this before, and they filled her with a sense of peace and happiness. As the sun set over the horizon, casting golden light across the cliffs, Leora and Ethan stood together, feeling a connection that went beyond words. They had faced challenges, proven their abilities, and shown that courage and intelligence mattered more than appearances. Leora knew that their journey was just beginning, but with Ethan by her side, she felt ready to face whatever the future held. The tiny alien princess had found someone who believed in her, someone who valued her for her true self. Leora looked at Ethan and knew that their bond was special, a partnership built on trust, respect, and admiration. Together they would continue to face challenges, explore new horizons, and inspire others with their courage and strength. The galaxy had never seen a pair like them before, and their story was only just beginning. Leora and Ethan had become an inseparable team. They traveled across her planet, helping communities, solving disputes, and working on projects that improved the lives of her people. With every task, Leora's confidence grew, and she found herself relying on Ethan as both a partner and a friend. The bond they shared was deeper than either of them had expected. One morning, the planet's Defense Council sent an urgent message. Pirates had appeared near the outer borders, attacking outposts and stealing resources. The council was anxious and worried about the safety of their people. Leora and Ethan volunteered to assist in defending the planet. They quickly boarded a small spacecraft and headed to the affected area, ready to help. As they approached the outer borders, the damage caused by the pirates became visible. Burned structures, broken vehicles, and scared citizens filled the scene. Leora took a deep breath, remembering all the times she had felt powerless when faced with danger. But now, with Ethan by her side, she felt courage and determination like never before. The pirate ships were larger and more heavily armed than the local defenders' craft. Leora quickly analyzed the situation, giving commands to the small fleet of defenders. She pointed out weak points in the pirates' formations and suggested strategies to outmaneuver them. Ethan added his knowledge from Earth's military history, suggesting unconventional tactics that the defenders could use. The battle began. Leora's fleet moved with precision, using the terrain of the nearby asteroid fields to their advantage. Ethan coordinated with her, offering guidance and encouragement. Together they inspired the defenders, who followed their commands with confidence. The pirates were caught off guard by the clever maneuvers and quick thinking of the tiny princess and her human companion. During the fight, Leora piloted a small but agile ship, darting between enemy fire and targeting vulnerable points on the pirate vessels. Ethan monitored the situation from a nearby craft, communicating strategies and supporting her efforts. Their teamwork was seamless, and the pirates struggled to adapt to their coordinated attacks. After several intense hours, the defenders managed to force the pirates to retreat. The damage to the planet had been limited, and the citizens were safe. Leora and Ethan landed near a group of grateful villagers who cheered and praised their efforts. Leora felt a sense of pride and relief. She realized that her abilities and intelligence had saved lives, and Ethan had been a vital part of their success. The news of their victory spread quickly across the planet and beyond. Other alien leaders were shocked that a tiny princess and a human man had turned the tide of battle. Many had underestimated them, assuming that size and strength were the most important factors. Leora's courage, intelligence, and determination, combined with Ethan's calm and innovative thinking, had proven otherwise. As the days passed, the council began to recognize Leora's growing influence and leadership. She was no longer seen as a fragile princess, but as a capable strategist and problem solver. Ethan continued to support her, offering advice and standing by her side in both public and private matters. Their partnership became an example to others, showing that strength came in many forms. One evening, as they walked along a cliffside path overlooking the ocean, Leora spoke about the challenges she had faced. "All my life I have been judged by my size," she said quietly. "Many alien males rejected me and it made me feel weak and unworthy. But now with you I feel strong. I feel like I can face anything." Ethan smiled, squeezing her hand gently. "You are strong, Leora," he replied. "Your size has never defined you. It is your courage, intelligence, and heart that make you powerful. I see the real you, and that is why I am here with you." Leora felt warmth and gratitude in her heart. She had never been treated with such respect and admiration before, and it filled her with hope. As their partnership grew, new challenges arose. A group of smugglers attempted to infiltrate the planet's trade routes, causing unrest and fear among merchants. Leora and Ethan worked together to identify the smugglers' operations, using clever strategies and careful planning. They coordinated with the planet's security forces to capture the criminals without causing unnecessary harm. The success of their mission further strengthened Leora's reputation. Citizens began to see her as a leader who could protect and guide them. Ethan's presence reassured them as well, as they realized that this human had earned the trust and respect of their princess. Together they became a symbol of hope and resilience. During this time, Leora and Ethan also discovered that their connection went beyond leadership and teamwork. They shared moments of quiet reflection, enjoying the beauty of the planet and the simple pleasures of life. They laughed together, talked about their dreams, and supported each other through doubts and fears. Leora felt a deep sense of companionship and trust, knowing that Ethan truly understood her. One day, the council called a meeting to discuss a larger threat. A neighboring planet was rumored to be planning an invasion, seeking to claim resources and territory. Many council members were nervous, fearing that their small planet could not withstand such an attack. Leora and Ethan volunteered to lead a diplomatic mission, believing that intelligence and negotiation could prevent war. As they prepared for the journey, Leora reflected on how far she had come. She had faced rejection, loneliness, and doubt, but she had grown stronger through every challenge. With Ethan by her side, she felt ready to confront any obstacle. Their partnership was built on trust, respect, and shared determination. And she knew that together they could make a difference. When they arrived on the neighboring planet, the leaders were skeptical and cautious. They had heard of Leora's small size and expected her to be easily intimidated. However, Ethan's calm presence and confident support immediately changed their perception. He introduced Leora as a wise and capable leader, emphasizing her accomplishments and intelligence. During the negotiations, Leora spoke with clarity and conviction. She outlined her planet's position, offered fair compromises, and proposed solutions that would benefit both sides. Ethan reinforced her points, providing additional perspective and demonstrating their united approach. The neighboring leaders were impressed by their teamwork and insight. After lengthy discussions, an agreement was reached. The neighboring planet agreed to terms that ensured peace and fairness, avoiding conflict. Leora and Ethan returned to their planet as heroes, celebrated by citizens and council members alike. Their success demonstrated that courage, intelligence, and partnership could achieve what force alone could not. As they stood together in the palace gardens that evening, Leora felt a profound sense of accomplishment and gratitude. She had faced challenges, proven her abilities, and discovered a partnership built on mutual respect and admiration. Ethan had shown her that true strength was not measured by size or appearance, but by courage, intelligence, and heart. The tiny alien princess, once rejected by every male in the galaxy, had found a human man who valued her for who she truly was. Together they had faced battles, solved crises, and demonstrated the power of partnership. Leora knew that their journey was far from over, but she felt ready to meet whatever challenges lay ahead, confident in their bond and in her own strength. As the twin moons rose in the sky, casting a soft glow over the palace, Leora and Ethan stood side by side. The galaxy was beginning to take notice of their story, a tiny princess and a human man working together, proving that courage and intelligence mattered more than appearances. Leora felt hope, joy, and determination. She had finally found someone who saw her true worth, and with him, she was ready to shape a brighter future for her people and beyond. Leora and Ethan's journey continued to test their courage and partnership. News reached them of a neighboring planet preparing for aggressive action over a disputed territory. The council called for immediate talks, and Leora, confident in her growing abilities, volunteered to lead the mission with Ethan by her side. The journey was tense, and the human and the tiny princess prepared diligently, reviewing the customs, history, and known attitudes of the planet's leaders. As they approached the neighboring planet, Leora felt a mix of nervousness and determination. This mission was critical. Ethan remained calm, studying the reports and maps carefully. He reminded her, "You have handled so much already, Leora. Trust in your knowledge and your instincts. I will be right beside you." His steady presence helped Leora focus on what truly mattered: diplomacy, clarity, and demonstrating the strength of her leadership. Upon landing, they were met by high-ranking officials. The alien leaders had heard about Leora's small size and initially assumed she was inexperienced and weak. Ethan introduced her confidently, describing her accomplishments and strategic mind. Their unity and calm demeanor made the other leaders pause and reconsider their initial judgments. During the first meeting, tensions were high. The alien leaders demanded resources and territory, threatening war if their demands were not met. Leora remained composed, addressing each point logically. She proposed compromises that allowed both planets to retain critical resources while fostering cooperation. Ethan backed her up, suggesting additional approaches to avoid conflict and demonstrating that they were a formidable team. Over the following days, negotiations were long and intense. Leora and Ethan presented evidence, clarified misunderstandings, and used clever strategies to persuade the leaders that war would benefit no one. Their combined intelligence, calm demeanor, and mutual respect impressed the alien officials. Slowly, the atmosphere changed. The once aggressive leaders began to listen carefully, asking thoughtful questions and considering their proposals seriously. During this time, Leora demonstrated her ability to handle complex discussions under pressure. She negotiated with precision, ensuring that her people's interests were protected while also offering fair solutions to the neighboring planet. Ethan's presence complemented her perfectly. He provided support and perspective, allowing her to remain clear and focused even during the most challenging moments. As the negotiations reached a crucial point, a sudden technical failure disrupted the communication systems. Leora and Ethan quickly took control, diagnosing the issue and restoring communication without delay. Their quick thinking prevented a breakdown in the talks and kept the discussions on track. The neighboring leaders began to see that this tiny princess, though small in size, was capable of decisive action and strategic thinking. Finally, after many long hours, an agreement was reached. Both planets accepted terms that ensured peace, resource sharing, and mutual respect. The leaders shook hands, recognizing the success of Leora and Ethan's combined efforts. Leora felt a surge of pride. She had faced the challenge, remained composed, and achieved a result that preserved peace. Ethan smiled, proud of her leadership and courage. Returning to their planet, Leora and Ethan were greeted with celebrations. Citizens and council members alike praised their success. Leora's reputation as a strong and intelligent leader grew, and she realized that her worth was now recognized by many who had doubted her before. Ethan remained by her side, quietly supporting and admiring her accomplishments. In the weeks that followed, Leora and Ethan worked to implement the agreements and strengthen their planet's alliances. They traveled together, meeting diplomats, solving conflicts, and providing guidance on strategy and governance. Leora's confidence continued to grow, and she learned to trust both her abilities and the value of partnership with Ethan. Their relationship also deepened on a personal level. They shared moments of reflection and quiet conversation, enjoying each other's company and learning more about one another. Leora appreciated Ethan's calm wisdom and his ability to see her true strength, while Ethan admired Leora's intelligence, courage, and determination. Together, they became more than a team. They became a partnership built on trust and mutual respect. During one evening in the palace gardens, Leora reflected on the journey so far. She had faced rejection, challenges, and doubt, yet she had persevered. With Ethan by her side, she had achieved victories she had never imagined possible. She looked at him and felt a profound sense of gratitude and hope. He had shown her that true strength comes from character, intelligence, and courage, not size. Ethan looked back at her, understanding her thoughts without needing words. "We have come a long way, Leora," he said softly. "And this is just the beginning. With your mind and courage and our partnership, we can achieve even greater things for your people and beyond." Leora smiled, feeling inspired by his unwavering support. As days turned into weeks, Leora and Ethan continued their work, addressing the planet's challenges and building new alliances. They faced crises, managed conflicts, and guided their people with wisdom and determination. The citizens began to see that the tiny princess and the human were a unique and effective pair, capable of leadership, problem-solving, and diplomacy beyond what anyone had expected. Even the skeptical aliens began to acknowledge their accomplishments. Many who had previously dismissed Leora due to her size were now observing with curiosity and respect. They recognized that true leadership was not determined by physical stature, but by intelligence, courage, and the ability to inspire others. Leora and Ethan became an example of what could be achieved when two individuals worked together with mutual respect and understanding. One day, while traveling to a remote village affected by a recent storm, Leora and Ethan coordinated rescue and rebuilding efforts. Their teamwork impressed the villagers, who were grateful for their guidance and support. Leora's confidence soared, knowing that her decisions and actions were making a real difference. Ethan worked alongside her, offering advice and encouragement, demonstrating that they were truly partners in every sense. The tiny princess, once rejected by every male in the galaxy, had now become a symbol of intelligence, courage, and perseverance. Her story, along with Ethan's support, inspired others to look beyond appearances and value true qualities of character. Leora felt proud of what they had achieved and excited for the future, knowing that with Ethan, she could face any challenge with confidence. As they stood together overlooking the ocean one evening, Leora reflected on the lessons she had learned. She had discovered the power of partnership, the value of intelligence and courage, and the importance of believing in oneself. Ethan's presence had shown her that strength is measured not by size but by heart, mind, and determination. Leora felt a renewed sense of purpose and hope, ready to continue shaping a brighter future for her people and for the galaxy. The twin moons rose over the horizon, casting silver light across the palace gardens. Leora and Ethan stood side by side, united by their experiences and their shared vision. Their story was beginning to be told across planets, a tale of courage, intelligence, and partnership that would inspire generations. Leora knew that with Ethan by her side, she could face any obstacle, achieve any goal, and continue to prove that the tiny alien princess was a force to be respected and admired. Leora and Ethan's partnership had grown stronger with every challenge they faced. The galaxy had begun to notice their successes, and word spread of the tiny princess and the human who saw her true worth. Together, they had demonstrated intelligence, courage, and leadership beyond expectations. Now they were about to face a challenge that would test not only their abilities, but also the depth of their bond. A message arrived from a distant system, warning of a rogue fleet approaching their planet. The fleet was large and well-armed, intent on conquest and plunder. The council convened an emergency meeting, and Leora and Ethan were asked to lead the defense. The tiny princess, once dismissed as weak, now stood at the forefront of her people, ready to take action. Ethan's calm presence reassured her, and together they began planning their strategy. They studied the fleet's movements, analyzing patterns and weaknesses. Leora suggested unconventional tactics that leveraged their knowledge of the local terrain, while Ethan applied strategies he had learned from Earth's history. Their combined approach was innovative, and the council quickly agreed to follow their plan. As the fleet approached, Leora and Ethan coordinated the defenders. They moved swiftly, deploying forces strategically and using the environment to their advantage. Leora piloted a scout ship, gathering information on enemy positions, while Ethan directed operations from the command center. Their teamwork was seamless, inspiring confidence in all who followed them. The battle was intense. The rogue fleet was powerful, but Leora's strategies and Ethan's guidance turned the tide. Small, agile ships struck where the enemy was weakest, and defensive systems protected key areas. Leora's intelligence and courage shone through, and Ethan's support ensured that no mistakes were made. Together, they led the defenders to a hard-fought but decisive victory. After the battle, the citizens celebrated Leora and Ethan as heroes. The tiny princess had proven that size was no measure of strength, and the human man who believed in her had been an essential partner. The alien males who had once rejected her watched in awe, realizing that courage, intelligence, and heart mattered more than appearances. In the weeks that followed, Leora and Ethan worked to rebuild the areas affected by the battle and to strengthen the planet's defenses. Their cooperation and mutual respect set an example for others. Citizens began to trust Leora not just as a princess but as a capable leader, and they admired Ethan for recognizing and supporting her talents. One evening, while walking along the cliffs overlooking the ocean, Leora reflected on her journey. She had faced rejection, danger, and doubt, yet she had grown stronger with each challenge. Ethan's unwavering support had shown her the true meaning of partnership and respect. She looked at him and felt a deep sense of gratitude and connection. "Ethan," she said softly, "I never imagined finding someone who would see me for who I truly am. You have shown me that my worth is not defined by size but by courage, intelligence, and heart. I am grateful for you every day." Ethan smiled, holding her hand gently. "Leora, you have always had those qualities. I only helped you see them and believe in yourself. You are remarkable, and I am honored to be by your side." Leora felt a warmth in her heart, knowing that their bond was built on mutual respect, admiration, and trust. As their relationship deepened, they continued to face new challenges together. They traveled to distant planets, resolving conflicts, establishing alliances, and demonstrating that true leadership comes from character and intelligence rather than size or strength. Leora's reputation grew, and she became a symbol of hope and courage across the galaxy. The alien males who had once rejected her began to reconsider their judgments. They witnessed firsthand the achievements of Leora and Ethan, recognizing that the tiny princess had qualities they had once ignored. Leora, however, paid little attention to their opinions. She had found someone who truly valued her, and that was all that mattered. During one mission, Leora and Ethan encountered a planet in turmoil, with citizens suffering from mismanagement and conflict. Together, they assessed the situation, identified solutions, and implemented strategies to restore peace and stability. Their success further cemented Leora's status as a capable leader and demonstrated the power of partnership and intelligence. In quieter moments, Leora and Ethan shared personal reflections, enjoying the simple pleasures of life and learning from each other's experiences. They laughed, discussed dreams, and offered support during moments of doubt. Leora felt a deep sense of belonging, knowing that Ethan saw her for who she truly was and believed in her abilities. One evening, after a successful mission, they returned to the palace and looked out over the city. The twin moons reflected on the waters below, casting a soft glow over the landscape. Leora felt a sense of peace and fulfillment. She had faced countless challenges, proven her worth, and discovered a partnership built on trust, respect, and shared purpose. "Ethan," she said, "I never thought my life would lead to this. I have faced rejection and doubt, yet here I stand stronger than ever with someone who believes in me completely. I could not have done this without you." Ethan looked at her with a smile, understanding the depth of her gratitude. "Leora, it is you who has led the way," he replied. "I only walk beside you. Your courage, intelligence, and determination are what make all of this possible. I am proud to be your partner in every way." Their eyes met, and in that moment, they understood the strength of their bond and the significance of their journey together. As the days turned into weeks, Leora and Ethan continued to inspire others. They demonstrated that size and appearances do not determine worth, that courage and intelligence are the true measures of strength, and that partnership built on respect and trust can overcome any challenge. Their story became known across planets, inspiring future generations to look beyond appearances and value true character. The tiny alien princess, once rejected by every male in the galaxy, had found someone who recognized her true worth. Together, Leora and Ethan had faced battles, negotiated peace, solved conflicts, and shown that intelligence, courage, and heart matter above all else. The galaxy had begun to see that greatness comes in many forms, and that partnerships built on trust and respect can change the course of history. Standing side by side in the palace gardens, overlooking the ocean and the twin moons, Leora felt hope and excitement for the future. With Ethan by her side, she was ready to face any challenge, knowing that their bond, Their shared values and their courage would guide them through whatever came next. The tiny princess had found her place in the galaxy, not because of her size, but because of her heart, mind, and spirit, and the human man who saw her true worth would remain by her side, shaping a brighter future together.